2, 1.
All right. Ready to go, Jay?
You betcha.
All right. So, welcome back, everyone. I'm Chris, and this is Jay. Welcome to the Restaurant Tech Show on the Cisco Virtual Kitchen Network, where we explore the intersection of technology and the restaurant industry. From latest trends in food delivery apps to the use of AI in kitchen management, we'll dive into the ways that technology is shaping the way that we eat and dine out. Today, we have a very special guest, ChatGPT, a powerful AI language model from OpenAI that has been trained to understand and generate human language. ChatGPT will be joining us to discuss the latest advancements in AI and its potential applications in the restaurant industry. So sit back, relax, and join us as we have an enlightening conversation with ChatGPT on the latest in AI and its potential in the restaurant industry. And if you're wondering how good this tool is, ChatGPT wrote that entire introduction that I just read to you in only 2 sentences.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Literally just asked it to write an introduction for the tech show and then introduce yourself as a guest. And this is what it produced.
Cheers.
We're here. We've arrived.
Right? So Chris, let's get into it, because you know what we're doing now? I forgot to mention this to you, is that we're gonna just go right into it. Let's do commercials later, intros and all that stuff. Let's just dive into this because it's so important for our industry and our restaurant industry to understand this stuff.
Yeah.
So where would you like to start? I got a list.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can, whatever your list is, we can just, we can literally ask ChatGPT where we'd like to start, and I'm sure it would have a good answer for us.
Right.
But I think what we want to do for the show is I'll pull it up in a second here. I think we should, maybe take a step back and kind of define, what technology like this means for the restaurant industry, as well as how it can actually be applied, and, what people need to be kind of looking out for. And we're going to try to remove some of those bugbears that people might have about new tech. So I mean, Jay, you're in the restaurant industry for a long time. What was like one of the newer pieces of technology that came into your life in the restaurant industry that was a little bit like you weren't really sure about it, or maybe caused you a little bit of anxiety when you were using it?
Oof.
I know, putting you on the spot.
I know. Well, you put me on the spot, which is really cool. I guess there was a lot of, like, you want to talk about like 20 some years ago, or do you want to talk about now?
Hey, whatever. Like, I mean, new tech is new tech 20 years ago.
Well, true. 20 some years ago when I was in the industry, I think just overall costing tools. I didn't know what to use or what they were. I don't think there's probably like 1 or 2 in the market at that time. There wasn't very many like there is today, the millions of them. So that was probably the one area that I know was coming in. Social media was really starting to become what is this, right? It was just at the cusp of it, right? No one knew what to do or what was happening. I would say those are your primary 2 big areas. POS systems, we were still using those early in the 90s. It wasn't a big deal. So that was that. Were they great? No. Have they come a long ways? Yes. But to what we have today and what it was then, completely different than it is today. And this is a game. This I believe will shape our industry in food service and restaurants, QSRs, bars, everything as we understand it, because it's only about a month old now, right?
Yeah, well, and I think like, before we go too far into it, kind of what you talked about of like technology in the past versus today, it's totally different. But like back then, like, new technology coming out was the cutting edge. When you went from, you talk about having, you're on a POS system, but when you're on an actual cash register, I'm sure it took a long time for people to go from a cash register to a point of sale system being like, why do I need all of this, right? Like, people give me money, I pull the big handle, I give them back their change, and then, we're good to go. But obviously they've added a lot of advancements to the restaurant industry, a lot of cost savings, efficiency, and that's kind of like where, we want to actually define technology. It's really just processes and tools that are going to help you automate and improve an existing process for the better. So the only reason to actually use technology is if you're looking to improve a process or if there is a better way to improve it. But while technology changes, it's not a magic wand. And I think it's really important for restaurants to know that, is that they can't just, sign up for a service like, ChatGPT, and all of a sudden their customer service woes are gone. The technology changes, but it's really just like the service doesn't really change. It's just the mediums that have been changing. And that's really what technology is, I find, is that it's the different mediums. Like now you have people using their cell phones to order. People are on their laptops. people using
Mhm.
QR codes. There,
Yeah.
but the actual delivery of the service and what has made great restaurants great, like they still need that great core service in place in order for technology to improve it. So I think it's really important that if somebody wants to invest in tech, that they have to invest the right amount of time and money and really just like research into understanding it. Because if you don't, these tools can really be costly. They can break your service, and it can really basically do the exact opposite that you intended if we're not willing to kind of make that investment.
So, Chris, I want to throw this out there to you. Then, um, do you think someone that in a restaurant is using these kind of programs, AI programs, and not using it, these restaurants that are using these other things, and that's what we're having today's show, are going to be much more ahead than ones that don't?
Um, I mean, the easy answer could be yes. I mean, if they're doing it properly, but I also think
Yeah.
restaurants need to understand what their value is and what they're really good at. So, because I think what technology does well is it helps you focus on what you're really good at, and it like backfills where you're not. So if you talk about a costing tool, if you're like being an incredible chef making the best meals, but man, when it comes to doing costing, I hate that. Not only should you
Hmm.
hire people for that, so hire the people that can backfill those like that dearth of knowledge, but you also want to use technology in I think to think of it in two different ways. You want to use technology to backfill areas where you're not strong or you don't want to focus. So something that can be automated, like a customer service, say social media customer service. So people are constantly like going on your website and asking questions about food allergies and do you take reservations and what's on your menu. These are like processes that are repetitive and that they can be automated, and you
Hmm.
could use a tool like ChatGPT to automate that process. But maybe your thing is that your food is maybe more standard fare, but your customer service is fantastic. Like you spend all of your time talking to your guests, learning about their kids, their family, what they're up to, their activities. You really know your guests like crazy, but you might need some help on the service side of it. So like you use stuff like mobile ordering and online ordering and things to like get the actual order flow in. But guests love going there because of the hospitality side. So it really depends on what type of restaurant you are or food service like brand that you are, and just trying to complement where you're strongest with technology, or sorry, where your weak is with technology.
So can we get into it? Because I think everyone's dying for us to play with it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So
Come on, Chris. Enough of the chit chatty.
All
Let's get
right, all
in
right.
there.
Let me present the screen here.
So excited. I think a lot of.
What
I think it's the
technology
thing.
we're
I
using
just.
to even?
Well, this goes back to the day, and I know it's probably not the greatest um to compare this to, but this might be the days when we saw the internet coming into our industry, and we're like, hey, should we use it? Shouldn't?
Yeah.
Or social
Good
media, same
example.
thing. Should we use it or shouldn't? And there's the odd restaurant that probably still doesn't use it, right?
Well, and this is how I look at every new piece of technology. It's like, do you have a problem with the existing technology today? And it's like, what is this actually going to give me?
Yeah.
And like, what are the alternatives? So what am I currently doing like that this solution is going to solve? Like, is it going to save me like several hours a month because it's like, maybe costing at the end of the month? And so, yeah, I can actually see the benefit there. Or is it really going to save me like the difference of, me opening up a computer and typing in a message versus this running all the time? So if there's like a real outcome, great. But people really do need to understand what the tech does and if it's really going to improve the process or just be like slightly better. Um, because I believe that like there's definitely technology out there to help everyone,
Hmm.
no matter what your strengths are. You just have to know yourself.
All right, let's get into it.
So, all right. So as you see, I kind of wrote I wrote the introduction for the show. I trimmed a little bit of the content because it's very thorough. But it's as simple as this. So, for example, I could literally say, "What is that GPT?" Oops.
So, Chris, people can find this at the chat. I think I put it up on their chat.
Yeah, it looks like it's chat.openai.com. So as you can see, it's generating this. It's generating its own its own response of what it is. So the GPT stands for
Pull it up a little bit.
Generative
Can you
Pre-trained
raise it
Transformer.
higher?
Yep.
There we go.
Now,
So
really,
this
what this is that they basically create all these data points, and they create multiple nodes on these data points that can connect to other nodes. And really, just like what that really means is that each data point is now enriched with connectors, and where it connects to depends on your restaurant, the input from from your guests, and essentially all the information that it gathers from, ChatGPT uses the internet, which has some information on it. So they're able to scan the internet for all the information about your business, your customer, restaurants in general, and then they basically just try to attach, these connections to individual data points to give you back, to provide really context, because that's really what this
Mhm.
whole natural language thing was missing, was how do we get the right context? And you get context by understanding as much as you can about your situation. And that's really what Chat GPT has done a great job of, is they've gone out and they've been able to add context so that you're able to define the difference between words that are the same. And yeah, as you can see, it's producing great text. And yeah, it's far past your standard bot that you would see that just says like, hello, how can I help you today? Select from one of the three options. We're far past that.
Yeah, I would say.
But I think it's funny here. So something we've actually had Chat GPT kind of invade both of our lives, as we were talking beforehand. My wife is actually a French literature teacher, and she received her first exam submitted that was written completely by Chat GPT using its translation skills. So somebody who was not a French first language used it to submit their entire exam. She was able to identify it just because she kind of knew the person and knew the language. She actually was like, this is written too well for the student. That was actually what caused her to catch this person. And then she had to create a whole new ticket with the school, because it's a problem they have not had yet.
So let's talk a little bit more, Chris, around the whole thing around this in relationship to definitely to our industry and back to it is. I got some questions here that we can prompt it with.
Yeah.
So,
I got one.
I guess the biggest thing, and a lot of people are going to be asking this question maybe on today's show, and we have comments here, folks. If you want to write into the show today, right now, send the comments across. Ask us what you think we should write into ChatGPT, and we'll actually put it right in here, and we'll all see it together. And then if you missed today's show because you couldn't watch it live, we're on demand on YouTube under Cisco Canada's YouTube channel, or you can follow us on Spotify, which you can watch it on Spotify as well, at Cisco Canada's Cisco Virtual Kitchen podcast. And we're going to put this out. We'll put it out more and more over the next few days. But I just want everyone to see what this is. So let's get into this. What was the one? How can restaurants use ChatGPT? Okay, here we go.
So just thinking really hard on this one. I actually
this is it. Can you roll it up a little bit more, Chris?
Well, it's rolled up. It's just not. It's just taking some time. So actually, one thing you need to know about this too is that it actually took me a couple attempts to get onto ChatGPT, because right now what they're doing is they have two products. They have ChatGPT, which is the free open source tool that you can log on to and use. You can ask questions. It can translate stuff. It can summarize movies for you. You can say, hey, go find me some information on ChatGPT, and it'll basically give you the information that you need. They also have a paid version. They have their enterprise version, which is GPT-3. This is what, so they've actually created an API that companies are using to create products out of this. So there are companies out there in the restaurant industry, and we'll have to find some names for you because it's still very new, but they're linking into this API to build specific solutions. So for example, we found this one called
Jasper?
Yeah. So Jasper.ai was one that is using the GPT-3 as a way to write marketing content. So automate marketing content for your business. So let's see. Let's try to reload this. But yeah, so the reason I mentioned that earlier is because this is really much at capacity as a free tool. So sometimes you don't exactly get the response that you need.
There we go.
Is it going?
No, do it again. Or just wait a second. What I find sometimes is I'll try a new chat channel in the left-hand side, and it actually does.
So let me try to stop generating and try and chat. We got to figure out all the what are the non-technical ways for us to try to refresh this, like the classic Nintendo, the open up, the blow in the cartridge, you close it. So I mean, funny enough, I actually found that if I use an incognito browser to log into ChatGPT, I was able to get into it every single time. When I tried to log in through my browser that was logged into my Google account, it would say that it was full. I would say my theory on this is that it's because they want more new people using the service. So since I was already using it, they kicked me out because they were full. Now we are back. So how can restaurants use ChatGPT? Automating customer service. These common questions, I think, are something that can definitely be automated. Did we have a chat come in?
No, not yet. So these are all the things that you prompted in there, and how can restaurants use ChatGPT?
I
So
didn't
what did
prompt
they
it.
come
I
on?
literally wrote how can restaurants use ChatGPT, and it's actually giving me 5 options, which this actually brings up a great topic that I've been kind of promoting in my
This
own
is
business
great.
and on the show, is around this concept of like there are value-added activities that are like hospitality-focused things where you can ask people how they're doing. You can upsell. You can make sure that they're getting dessert. You can talk about your specials. There's lots of things you can do in a restaurant to increase checks and hospitality. There's a lot of stuff that is a non-value added activity that can only detract from the experience if it's not done well. So the example I use here these are the non-value, like, hey, bringing menus to the table, bringing the payment terminals to the table, inputting the orders into the point of sale system. These are all things that they can only go bad, but no one's going to be super stoked that you got them their menu on time. They're only going to be upset that they've been waiting 10 minutes for a menu. Nobody's going to be stoked that you typed their order into the point of sale correctly. All they care about is that the order was inputted correctly, which can be done through, say, mobile ordering or online ordering or a tablet or something like that. So these non-value add activities that can be are great opportunities to use a tool like ChatGPT, or just do things that are very repetitive. So I like this idea. So automated customer service, those, like, people call your restaurant to ask you what your hours of operation are. Okay, well, this can be automatically done. This stuff can be done today, but you might be able to use it to say, hey, what are the specials coming up this week? And they might actually be able to go in and list those off where it's actually not available anywhere. But the chef said, hey, I want to make these. I'm going to set my menu for the week. ChatGPT can go in and actually list off the menu. And that would be a great way to use that tool.
So
menu descriptions. Cool.
So Chris, can we just test one of these?
Sure.
I want to write an email campaign, marketing campaign to draw people in to my restaurant for Valentine's Day.
Okay. Marketing email.
So everyone that's joining us while Chris writes this, we're just testing out ChatGPT and how it can help our restaurant industry by using this AI tool. There's a new other tool out there called Jasper AI. If you want to check that out, it also helps with marketing campaigns as well. What a great tool, and definitely something that I would look into. So here we go. So Chris, you wrote in there, write a marketing email for a Valentine's Day dinner special at my diner.
Jay's Diner.
And so how brilliant is this?
Here we go.
So I have to also note that a lot of restaurateurs and stuff like that, like we all are, I would say in general, everyone, not even just our industry, sometimes hard to write emails that
content. I mean, content marketing was one of the most hardest to find, like, people. Like, a good content marketer is incredibly hard to find, and now they might now become, I wouldn't say obsolete, because you still need somebody.
I think they can use this though, to make them better. I
think so. This is that whole concept of technology expanding your abilities. So if you're a content writer and you're using this tool a lot, it's going to pick up on your prose. It's going to pick up on, like, the little idiosyncrasies in your text, like the way that you write. And instead of being able to, let's be honest, even good content, 80% of that is just, the stuff that you have to say, and the 20% is where you make your magic. And so they're going to be able to spend all their time on that 20%. It's literally applying a Pareto principle of, like, the 80-20 rule. So now, instead of being, writing one blog, they can write 5 blogs in the same amount of time with the same amount of magic they would have written one blog in. So we just generated this email here. Valentine's Day is around the corner. What better way to celebrate with your loved one than at Jay's Diner? Oh, Jay's Diner. So many good memories there.
So, the one thing I've noticed, Chris, as well, is that I've been using, then just for everyone else, I've been using this since it rolled out the same day, and just playing with it and understanding it, is that I take this information now, and if I am putting it into an email, obviously, cutting and pasting it, I'm assuming they'll probably put new things in here to make that even more easier. Because I do know that they didn't have a stop response on the button before until last week.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing on here, why I say, is take this, and this creates a great template to start your email, right? So you may change it up, right?
80% of your email is written.
Yeah.
Just got to put in what that appetizer, entree, and dessert are. But I agree. Like, I'm also somebody, the way that I work, like, I'm best I will do my best work if you've done the job of, say, writing up, like, the core, like, pieces that we need. and then I can come in and like, oh, now how do I add that magic? And that's just
Yeah.
what I've noticed about myself is that it's really, really hard for me to write that first, like the standard 80%. It's so hard for me to get started. So the ability to just do this, and you copy paste this into an email, and then you go in and you just make your edits. I mean, you talk about adding tools. Now, if I was a content marketer but also a coder and wanted to write a quick company, I would basically be linking into the Chat GPT API or the GPT-3 API, and I would almost say write this email, and then imagine you could almost make like appetizer or entree or essentially any
Well, let's
kind of
try it.
like adjective.
Can we
My
try?
thing was not my
Sorry,
idea. My idea is actually developing the app on top of this to do what you said. So imagine I can actually have a thesaurus, that's linked to some of these keywords. So instead of saying like I don't know, like complimentary glass of champagne, you could change the word complimentary for something else. Or
Yeah.
and actually, I think that's an error, isn't it? No, because it's
Anyways,
compliment and compliment, right?
Right.
Anyways,
So this is the thing. It's getting better and better. But what I'd like to also on that, Chris, is I have a few things, and for everyone that's joining our show today on LinkedIn or Facebook as well as YouTube, send us a comment. Write us a comment. Hopefully, I have it turned on that you can send us a comment that you want Chris to have put in here, and we'll try to type it in here for you. Now, the other thing where you can go play with it yourself, because it's a great tool to play around with. Can it write menus, Chris? Let's see if it can write an LTL menu.
Yeah, I mean, you can. Like, I'm assuming you would have to put.
Let's write some things. We can put some. Let's put a few details.
Okay,
let's try
so
it.
all right, so I
Valentine's.
got this one, right?
Let's do a Valentine's menu. Let's write a Valentine's menu.
Let's keep it a little simple for a second here while we
Okay.
switch to time. But I got write menu description for
Because this is an area that a lot of people, I would say, in our industry find challenge sometimes. Is what description do I start with? Right. What do I do? Here we go.
So actually, that was one of the suggestions. I will scroll down to see the answer. But generating menu descriptions using Chat GPT, like whether it's email marketing, content marketing, menu descriptions, like this is all content writing that I'm sure it's the last thing on every chef's mind, right? It's let's build incredible food, and then we're going to build incredible food, and then it's the last thing that you have to do. So the fact that you could automate all of your menu descriptions and then have to go in and customize them, great. Like social media post content, email marketing content.
Oh, I got that on the list. Don't worry.
So good.
We'll get there. Let's see here. Has it spit out one yet? So what do you think it's going to look like?
Oh, maybe I should have put Jay's Diner in there.
Well, no, you know what? I think
Dine
the thing is it's on the same chat, so it may include it. It's on the same chat window, right? So it may include that. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what it comes out with. You know what I find during the different part? Here we go.
They're using a breakfast special.
Let's see both hands, Chris, just so people know you're not typing this. Both hands, Chris, so you're not typing this?
No mechanical Turks here.
No tricks.
There's someone under my desk on the laptop. I think it's what I find interesting too is as a marketing person, they do such a good job of finding without actually knowing what you want, they can define the options or the general overview. So our eggs are cooked to your liking. Now, if you actually left it there, you could, and then you could say, but then they also went as far as they didn't know how your eggs are going to be prepared. So they could say our eggs are cooked to your liking. They could have moved on. They then also use some examples of common ways that here are probably those are probably the three most common ways that eggs are prepared, I would assume.
So Chris,
thick cut and cooked to perfection.
So obviously we can't put that on a menu. It's too much. But we could take chunks out of there. So we can take it, can you redo it now? Go on the bottom. What I usually do here is rewrite, type the word rewrite this using 10 words or 12 words. Only 12 words.
That's good.
There we go.
Oh, that's right. I wasn't sure which one it was doing. Yeah. Too many requests in 1 hour. Was that me? Too many requests for me?
They're still working on kinks, folks.
Oh,
Try a new chat. If you can try a new chat there, Chris.
I wonder if I go to the other brand new chat. We're experiencing a high demand. Man, clearly our show is so popular that all the
So
Cisco SKUs
popular.
have gone to Chat
There you go. You're,
GPT.
try it now. Type,
Yeah,
drop it in there now.
I can't even do the rewire.
There you go. Try it now.
Yeah. So you want me to? Do I type? Do I actually say? Do I drop this in, or do I write the original in?
Just write in
Oh,
the
actually,
note.
I'll do this.
Just in the bottom there in that blank, just put the word in that chat. So that chat is now, that's the whole conversation you're having within that topic, right? So you can go back into that topic or that chat.
Yeah.
Group.
Just
Yeah,
the problem is I'm trying the new chats. So.
There we go. Now say rewrite. There we go.
All right, so we might have timed out here, but we still got a lot of good content on here from the ChatGPT.
It'll come across.
It'll come across, but I mean, even if you had to just say, all you had to do is write this. Well, you talked about trimming the content here. There's actually so much good content that trimming it is actually easy from a standpoint where you're not trying to generate new content. So what I like is eggs cooked to your liking, thick cut, bacon cooked to perfection, and you have, crispy hash browns on the side, So kind of like you can pretty much take some of the nice pieces of the way they described it, truncate it down to the description that you need.
Well, you should be able to do that.
I love the many descriptions. Yeah. And you should be able to do it.
Give it another try.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Maybe we'll try even 24 words or less. It's like 2 sentences. Maybe it was having trouble. Oh, yeah.
Chris, just
got me.
Try copying that big one and try new chat. Now, what I also find on this, which is interesting, I wonder if they'll do collaboration chats. Like I can invite you, me and you could be working on the same chat box. Right?
That would be cool. Again, I think what's interesting is that they essentially have an API. So all of these ideas, like collaborative chats, like all of this is going to be possible. Where just so people know, for APIs and the way this works is like you take something like we have there's a company called WordPress where you build websites on. Like what's a more common platform? I want to say Netflix for like watching movies and such.
Yeah.
But basically, for example, Netflix is a platform like ChatGPT where all these people can put their movies on there, or like studios can put their movies on there. But basically, GPT is allowing other companies to use this incredible language and insert it into their existing products or brand new products. So all this functionality that we're talking about, somebody is probably working on a whole new company right now that's using the API to do this.
Here we go, Chris.
Let's see.
Do you think it'll do?
I think it. Well, it's got me. It knows who I am. Like maybe if you try it, we could flip it over.
Okay, so
clear my cache, but it's.
Send me that paragraph. So we'll try this on my side. I got it fired up over here too.
It's on the chat,
and I'll share when I go through in the chat box.
But
I can only do up to the word perfect side. So
then just say to write the special. Just start at the beginning again. Write a breakfast.
What was it? What did you
special.
Put?
I'll post it for you, but essentially it was like write a description for my breakfast special using bacon, eggs, and ham, bacon, eggs, and hash browns.
Okay.
All right, do you want to share your screen? Is it working
give me
for
a
you?
second here. Yeah.
All right.
It's way different than yours too, which is really interesting as well, right?
I'm using an Edge browser right now on dark mode, so that might be doing something. Edge is still built in Chromium, which is the same as Chrome, but a little different. Trying to speed up my laptop, and let's just say it's not faster with Edge. So
this is what I got. Can you see it? I'll zoom it in. This is what I got. Sorry, day off right with a classic hash browns. Now, which is interesting. This is a great task, actually. Are we testing this? Is that it's similar to yours? So you're gonna have to. I think adding keywords So not everyone in the breakfast world has the same menu description on their menus,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, let's
right?
be fair though. I mean, most breakfast places serving your breakfast special has the same description within a couple of words already, so it's not you're not really
Well,
taking away anything. It just gives you the it's just giving you like a really good starting template. Actually, you know what? Taking that principle, if all of your menu descriptions are created like this for you automatically, then you can spend all that time making them special versus actually writing the core content. So there you go.
so you mean like adding and making it different?
Yeah, because
Well,
if you
let's
don't have to
try.
write all of these every single time, then you talk about all the descriptions kind of being similar. Well, if all you're doing is spending time on making your descriptions unique, then you're going to make more unique descriptions than if you had to write all the content yourself.
You're right there, Chris.
Elevate your breakfast game. Look at that. Make its menu item different. Twist. Apparently, you have herb infused eggs now, though, and truffle oil. So there goes your food costs. You just
There you
increased your
go.
costs.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
elevate
make
your breakfast cost. This is the premium avocado salsa. Man, what kind of diner you got there, Jay? Make this with cheaper menu items. Wake up to our budget-friendly breakfast: fried eggs, shredded potato, hash browns. I love it.
there you
Buttered
go. And
toast.
butter toast.
Look
Uh-huh.
at that. And
Right.
you're good at
So
this. You
so
have been playing with this.
I have been playing. I know
Yeah.
the game. So I think this is really great. So the other thing I want to show everyone that I want to do is I want to create. Let's see if it will create. Sorry, my fingers are a little sticky today. Create a limited time menu for my restaurant.
What kind of restaurant?
Okay.
Like for your Italian restaurant, sushi restaurant.
Let's stick in with the breakfast. Okay.
Cool.
For my
Or
breakfast.
restaurant breakfast. Yeah. It's probably used to dealing with people like me that create incredible errors while they type. So
Yeah.
it auto corrects it in there before it goes in.
Yeah.
What was your favorite meal to cook when you were working back in the day?
Oh man, it's been so long. Let's say that's like 20 some years ago, 25 years ago. There you go.
Taste of Edmonton. Locally sourced, affordable price. Man, that's contradictory, but I love it. Alberta Sunrise. Bison sausage, maple glaze. Man, this looks great.
This looks great. And I think this is what's good now. This may be you go, you know what, as this works itself out, I think maybe we're now this is an LTO. Now what I would like this, watch this. Let's see if we can create this in vertical menu.
Are there a lot of bison themed meals in Edmonton? I mean, I know it's kind of
No,
makes sense,
it's very interesting you picked up on that, which is weird,
so
but it doesn't.
there's a lot of
It's
history
actually,
there,
but there might be, but
yeah.
it's actually not that bad. First of all, it's calling it the proper language,
Yeah.
so it's not. So it doesn't have the ability. Which is this is what happens when you put it to the challenge.
So polite though.
It's so polite.
Uh,
So I get it. Thank you. He keeps apologizing. Put this on the screen. So I think what we got to look at here is it is interesting that it does pick this up. Bison sausage is really good, and it's very health conscious in a way as well because it's not as fat. Sweet
fat,
potato
yeah.
hash,
Also
browns.
health conscious.
That's brilliant though, but and health conscious. Maple glazed. A lot of people don't do that enough. I think with sweet, that's
That's
beautiful
not like
as
classic.
well.
That's like candied yam style, almost.
I know.
Yeah.
Right? And they call it the Edmonton omelet, which is great because you always want to associate some recognition of a city,
Yeah.
especially in the breakfast place. Wild mushrooms, locally sourced cheeses. It's hitting on, I think, a lot of the trends that we're seeing with locally sourced products, right?
And that's what I think. And that's what I think is interesting is that it obviously did an internet search of Edmonton and like locally sourced food in Edmonton. So I'm sure if you Googled Edmonton, like locally sourced food, you've probably got wild mushrooms places. You might have cheeses. You might have bison, suppliers. So that's what it's pulling from. It's kind of hilarious because we talk about creating a menu out of your creating descriptions, but this could almost create your menu if you wanted to play
Yeah.
around with it. Like create me a menu for Ottawa, Canada, and then all of a sudden you see like they're all like, yeah, you can have a beaver tail sandwich with some poutine on it.
Yeah. So let's do a few more here. And Chris, does yours work on
Well, I
your
think
side?
no, mine's still giving me the error, but I mean we've trying to think of like what else we can tell restaurateurs. Where I think the core message here is like this technology is one of the
Well, I
most
want to go
impressive things that
into.
I've seen.
I got
You
a
know,
couple things here based on a lot of the things that we're dealing with right now in the industry,
sure.
and that's obviously food inflation. So let me go back in here. I'm going to start a new chat and share my screen, and then we won't make today's show too long for you folks, but we do want to be able to show you all these different things you can do with this. Here we go. Then we're back. Okay, so food cost. So we want to be give give me tips on fighting food inflation in my restaurant.
Nice.
That is a seafood. There you go. Now, I always do this. We could add more. So I think the more that you're giving it the prompts,
Yeah.
you can definitely look at different things you can put in there that really connects back. And
Well, and just understanding how to if you want to change what's happening, if you want to change the text when it comes to data, you want to make sure, especially something like this, make sure that you're not changing too many variables at once. So try to take it where you put in your basic and you try to change one or two variables each time. If you change too many, then you could lose what you loved about the first one, especially with a tool like this.
Yeah, this is great. So we can go back in there, and then we can look. Now, the other thing I want to just touch on the marketing thing here in a second, and
Seasonal seafood, creative menu.
right. So I would
Promotion.
love. So let me go. Sorry, I always go to the wrong camera. So look at it. Alternative, lower cost seafood options. Obviously, build relations with local suppliers. I understand. Use technology to manage food costs. Didn't we talk about that earlier? Right. Use seasonal seafood. Perfect. Be creative with your menu. Whew. Love that. Promotions and discounts. I'm not sure I agree on the discount part, but definitely PR promotions and stuff like that that you can do to drive traffic. And watch your food waste. It's a no-brainer. It's pretty
Yeah.
simple. So obviously, it's picking up on some of those things. And
This
keep a
reminds me of
close
like
eye on
the
your prices.
yeah. This reminds me of like the
Interesting.
watch your food waste reminds me of was it Anthony Bourdain on The Big Short, where he talked about like,
Yep.
I've got these beautiful fillets on a Friday, then they turn into something else, and then they turn into a soup. Where it's
Yeah,
like you can
exactly.
constantly reuse your food.
And then we deep fry
And
it.
I think every restaurant does it. Yeah, they deep fry. Yeah, I'm pretty sure every good restaurant out there is doing this, and that's another thing back to the technology. Like if you're already doing this, already watching your food waste, you've already done all of this, great. If you're still looking for ways to save money, then you can look for more technology. But like I said, this technology is not a magic wand. You have to have a good restaurant with good processes and good people in order for these tools to be effective. So if we talk about, you should totally go get all this restaurant tech, but only if your restaurant is already running well and you're looking for like the supplement boost, or like you're looking to hire a trainer at the gym. You spent the first few months figuring it out. You know what's going on. You've got a decent fitness level. Now you're ready to bump it up. You don't go to a gym day one and say, give me some creatine, some protein, a training program, and let me like put on all this, the wristbands and the straps. You got to learn what you're doing first. And so that's when you want to jump into some of this tech.
So I agree. And I think when you look at this is a great way to also look at ways you can market your business using ChatGPT. And I really think I haven't used Jasper yet, Jasper Chat, but I'll check that out later today. But I think this is a great way of looking at using this for marketing ideas, or you want to create marketing themes or social, or you're creating social media assets that you want to add in some of these descriptives of your location, right?
Because it's also not just about give me like one specific, like you don't have to find the problem to bring it to Chat GPT to solve it for you. It can actually help you identify the problems or identify the opportunities. Because another great way to use this tool is to say, hey, could you actually provide like what are like the top 5 headlines in restaurants like news today? and it'll pretty much give you. It could, like, what are the
So
top
do you want
five?
me to do that? What'd you say? Let's
Sure.
do that.
What are the
So what was
top
it?
What are the top news stories in restaurants today, or something? Restaurant news stories, or something. So this is a
Restaurants.
way for you. What are the top restaurant news stories for today or today? And like, I wouldn't, maybe say like, what are the best solutions here or there. But if somebody is looking for solutions, you could say, hey, what are the best food waste management software? What are the best food waste management software solutions out there? Something like that. Because not only can it say summarize large text, or you
Mhm.
might have a report from the restaurant industry, but you only care about seafood restaurants. So you could actually get it to summarize the seafood restaurant data out of that report.
Yeah.
Um, so it's not just about, so you can really kind of let it, can do a ton of tasks for you. You can even translate it into a different language if you like.
Yeah, which is really cool. We can show that later too. So here we go. Oh, that's interesting. Hey.
Okay, there you go. Now I feel like if you put, I wonder if you put in like a link from a restaurant article, if you could summarize it. But I'm pretty sure that's one of the core things.
Do you want to? Do you want to? Well, wait a second. What's this?
It's talking about before. So as of 2021, here are some of the trends. So it's like, I can't do what you want, but here's what I can do for you,
Yeah.
which is still
Okay.
very
So,
interesting. Like you could look at this, even today.
well, growing trend of plant-based and menu options. Okay. So let's stop there. Let's stop that. Let's go back in here. Pull this one out. So what a great tool. I think a lot of people are going to waste a lot of time on this. Not waste time, play a lot of time and
Yeah,
work a lot of time. Don't use the word waste. Use a lot of time on this and to really understand what this means. So this is a news article here,
yeah.
Chris,
So
you
I
sent me. Okay.
posted, it was like, Windsor today restaurant serves 100 free meals to beat the Blue Monday
Okay.
Blues. So I don't
Let's
know.
see. So what it's doing right now,
Summarize this article for me.
it is running a little bit slower than normal. Maybe it's just because we're on it, um,
It's all those
but
Cisco
it'd be
freeze.
interesting to see. Yeah, everyone ran over and started using it today since our show. But it's a great thing to look at this. And I think the more that you play with this is a tool that can be a great resource. And I think that's the key until maybe over the time it'll start, replacing or adjusting things that you're doing today. But I think today
Mm,
using it as a tool to help your restaurant in certain areas, or just to look at and get the creative mind going, or the
yeah,
ideas for the menu items, or we're like looking at plant-based. Well, okay, I knew that. Well, let's see what I can come up with some marketing trends around plant-based, right?
yeah.
And if it does spit something out here sooner than later, then it may
Well,
have. So I think you got to be a little bit, I guess, open, to what this actually does, right?
and it's the same thing we talked about earlier with technologies. You do have to be willing to invest a good amount
There we
of
go.
time to learn the tech, to learn yourself in order to apply it correctly. And honestly, look at, if there's situations in your restaurant where you're like, man, this is an issue, but it's a new issue. Well, then maybe there's a way to solve it just by improving the process, or improving what you're doing. But if there's an issue that keeps coming back up month after month after month, like, man, we're still paying really high fees for this, or we can't get this menu right, or we can't update our menus fast enough. Okay, if it's a repetitive problem, you tried to solve it, it's not working. That's when you want to go and look for tech where it's becoming that
Yeah.
repetitive problem. So that's where you should really jump on here. And I love the way you're using this too, of just like, take this trend and then like provide me some examples. So you find those bottlenecks or those inefficiencies in your restaurant. You say, hey, what trends are helping reduce the waste and blah, right? That could get you started. Okay, cool. What are some companies that are solving this problem? Boom.
Mhm.
So, and you're off to
There
the
you go.
races. It's
So
great.
this is great. So I think I'm gonna look at this in this vegan brunch. So now let's go back in here and so right the let's say five menu ideas using this and this. Let's just use that. There we go. So see how I'm kind of using it over and over? And here we go. There you go, Chris.
Look at that.
What a great tool.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Isn't that fantastic? Like, I think everyone can play with this and learn. Vegan French toast. Never thought of it. Right? just the way of positioning it, right? You know what? It's a great way to look at that, what that is. And you definitely can use it by applying that. I've never seen vegan French toast on a menu, and that could be a great menu idea as we
Hmm.
try to create new products that really kid to the Generation Z, and maybe some millennials as well. But definitely, what a great way to look at playing with this. And then um, let's go back into this because I want to use this one here, Chris. So we want
Hmm.
to now create some marketing, social media marketing idea. There we go. So there, once again, I take something from there. Now I'm going to create some marketing ideas for social media that we can use with that vegan French toast, which I think
Hmm.
is actually a cool idea. So, because typically like vegan products are usually, it's either a vegan sausage, plant-based sausage, or you get into like the fruit salads and all that stuff. Now you can have your French toast. So, how awesome is
Very
that?
cool. Very
I
cool.
did, so let's see what it does. But so there's, I think there's, here we go.
Intense. Oh, look at that. Boom. That's epic. I mean, that's exactly the French toast challenge. Like it's something like you talked about. Never seen this before. Who are the guys we talked to?
Look
Burger
at
Week,
this.
like the Burger Week guys, right?
Yes, yes.
Like it's like vegan French toast week challenge.
Yeah, look at this.
Look at that. I mean, and just
A
we're
Twitter
using
poll.
Chat GPT to do this, right? To automate this for us. And then if you actually really want to test out your products or test out your concepts, well, you can do the same thing by literally running most of these campaigns, like the challenge and all that to get your guests and customers, like to get your guests to post their versions of it. And like, very cool. That like, I mean, let's see, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Do you notice that?
I was gonna say TikTok. Yeah, I was wondering if it's gonna include
Well,
TikTok
we
and
do know
whatnot
that
because of the.
Elon has a few dollars in this program, right? So you
Hmm.
wonder why it's not saying TikTok in that list of
You mean
items.
Twitter?
Twitter's on there.
I know, but Elon bought Twitter. Did he buy
I know.
TikTok too?
Well, he's part owner of this, right?
Uh,
So,
Very cool.
um, very cool. But there's a TikTok challenge, right?
So
Customer
as you
requests
can
for
see,
a
there's
French vegan
like
dish at home. Share on TikTok using special hashtags. Uh, how awesome is that? So there, I think, Chris, this is such a great tool.
yeah.
We're gonna throw it back up here on the bottom here, folks.
So even in
We're,
our and even in just like its free open version, restaurateurs and their marketing people and their operations people can be on here like today and generating all of this today. And then I
yeah,
think, as you mentioned, this is brand new, but with their API and their enterprise tool, I could only imagine where we're going to be in 1 year. Like
1 month, 2 months, three
1 month,
months, 6
yeah,
months.
exactly
Yeah,
right. But
we're
you're
gonna
going to
see
have
where
a
this
plethora
goes.
of companies offering all these specific services that have these kind of repetitive or type customer service type, or just you know the thing about this technology too is like all of this is possible. Like there's nothing special about what they're generating. It's just that they're doing it instantly. And so it's something that would have taken me a couple of hours to generate like all these ideas and all these menus. This could have taken me a couple of hours to do for work. It can now be done in 10 minutes. Like
So the last thing
mind blowing.
I agree. So the last thing I want to hear is, so someone goes on here and says, you know what, I want to open a pie shop. Okay, I want to open Chris's pie shop. So let's try something just crazy to end the show today.
We should ask ChatGPT to end the show for us. Write an outro for the show.
We will write me a business plan for a pie shop in
Hand
Canada.
pies are becoming a little popular in Canada. Eh?
So, well, what's interesting? So let's see if it does. So I've seen this a lot on TikTok and everything. So here we go. It's going to write a business plan right now for a pie shop.
Do you know the hand pie company in PEI?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, they are fantastic, and I know like they're slowly expanding out of PEI. They have a shop in Halifax now, but like the hand pies, like they've also been kind of expanding in New Brunswick and whatnot based on the popularity in PEI.
Yeah.
But I could see
Isn't
those
this
kind of
cool?
making their way Yeah.
So it will do this, people. So it will show you different ways to write business plans as well. As we don't need to go through this because I think it'll sit here for a
That's going
few
to go
hours.
for a while. Yeah.
It's going to go for a while, but they can do that. So
All right.
let's, and Chris, you can read this, but let's write,
Write
right.
an outro for the Cisco Restaurant Tech Show, or
Let's
yeah, the
go
SVK.
SVK Tech Show outro.
Oh, make it sound like Dr. Seuss though. Oh my god, that'd be awesome if you could do
That
that.
would have been awesome. Okay, we gotta stop that. Let's go here. Okay,
Yeah.
here we go, Chris. Okay, here we go.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of SVK Tech. We hope you found the information and insights shared today to be valuable. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more tech updates, trends, and innovations. As always, we'd love to hear your feedback and suggestions, so feel free to reach out to us. Join us again next month for another episode of SVK Tech. Until then, stay curious and keep learning.
How awesome is that?
Very cool.
That is awesome. Well, thanks again, Chris, for today's show, and to everyone else.
Thank you.
Today was awesome.
I
took a lot away from it. I hope everyone else does. We're going to put this back up here, folks. Go to chat.openai.com. Just Google ChatGPT and you'll find it. Log in. Doesn't ask for much of your credentials either. Sign in, test it, play with it. Put it as a restaurant tool of 2023 you're going to use as you navigate this industry. And actually, check I'm going to check Jasper Chat.
Jasper.ai. I think it's one of the faster ones for content. Yeah,
I do think it's going to be huge. Yeah. So use this as you want. I think there's multiple different ways that we can use this. I think it's just getting into it, understanding who you are. They call it super intelligence, Chris, is what they're talking about. That this is what it is, super intelligence for our industry. So I think it's only going to get better and bigger.
Just imagine when they get to super duper intelligence level of tech.
Super duper. That's awesome. Well, thanks again, Chris, and to everyone else. Tune in tomorrow. We're back tomorrow. Brand new show. We have Chef Brandy in from the Saddle Dome. We're going to be talking about what she does and her team does with the NHL games and what she does for cooking, all the different things they do within the Saddle Dome. It's enormous. So that's on tomorrow's show. And then we're back on Thursday and Friday. So only daily live show that's out there. But thanks again, Chris, and everyone else. Get it out and support our industry. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Chris.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.